I recently came back from Esxense, and of course there were so many new perfumes and discoveries to be had. There were brands I hadn't had a chance to smell before, there were fragrances that had just come out, and there are some really, really exciting releases. And today's video will focus on some of the most notable, the releases that really stood out to me, the ones that I'm really excited about, and of course I'm going to be telling you what's on my wish list as well. But before we get into it, if this is your first time watching, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances, and I post on this channel every single Wednesday along with a ton of bonus content in between. I also have an Instagram and a TikTok under the username anechkafragrances. So let's get into it. I have my notes in front of me. There were a lot of fragrances that we're going to be covering today, and I'm going to be giving you like my opinions on all of them. I have a lot of test strips that I've already sprayed, and I'm also going to be giving you a quick roundup of some fragrances that I saw but didn't necessarily get a sample of, and just give you my impressions on them, just the ones that really stood out to me, because of course we're talking about an event where they're spraying thousands of perfumes every single day of the event. And there were some fragrances that stood out to me more than others, so I'm going to be giving you the rundown on that as well. So first I want to talk to you about Barcelona. They have launched their new fragrance, Helix, and full disclosure, this is a perfume that I very much want to get the full-size bottle of. It's a fragrance that they released just in time for the warmer weather, and it's an interesting perfume because it's citrusy, it's zesty, but there's still a little bit of a unique quality to it. So this has top notes of bergamot, peach, sage, mid notes of C notes, orange blossom, and lily of the valley, rounding it out with a base of cedar, vetiver, and musk. This, considering that it's like a fresher scent, like this fresher fragrance, it lasts very, very well. I am very much enjoying my little mini bottle so far. This was gifted to me by the brand, very generous of them to do that. But I really, really like this, very much so. This definitely focuses on the sage. It is a marine fragrance, but I like how they have floral fruity in this perfume as well. So it kind of pulls it back from being too much of a quintessential, like masculine leaning marine fragrance, which I find is pretty common with a lot of marine perfumes. And I'm someone who doesn't necessarily like to limit myself when it comes to wearing perfumes designed for men or for women. I think that people should be free to wear whatever they please. And what I like about this is that it pulls from traditionally masculine and also more fruity, feminine kind of fragrance notes as well. So you have like that orange blossom and the peach, and then you have like your more masculine sage and C notes. So Helix by Barcelona, very much excited for this one. Another mini that I have is from Paradis de Sang. This is called Hala, and this is, I'm going to spray this on my skin because I really do love the opening on this. So I have the dry down on the strip and I have the opening here. This opens up with a juicy, fresh, ripe mango. It's not a sticky, sweet mango. It's like a very, almost like a green mango with citruses, with pear. It has some cashmere and Egyptian jasmine in the mid, along with some cedar. And then in the base, you have vanilla, amber, I believe ambroxan, tonka, and amberwood. So this is a perfume that definitely is summer appropriate, but they've taken mango and they've really done a number on it. It's not like your linear mango fragrance like so many mango fragrances have turned out to be. It's very interesting. It's a very unique scent. Once this fragrance settles, you definitely get more of that woodiness. But in the opening, this fragrance is like my absolute favorite. The favorite part for me is most certainly the opening. I love that interpretation of mango and pear. It's citrusy, but it's not too much. It's really, really quite beautiful. Again, I haven't tried too much from Paradis de Sang, but I'm a huge fan of Nirvana, and that remains my favorite fragrance from this brand. It's an intoxicating vanilla chestnut perfume with a fruitiness to it that's absolutely addictive. But while Hala is a gorgeous summer fragrance, if you are a fan of amber, not sorry, not amber, yes, but if you're a fan of mango and you want something a little bit more unique, Valhalla is most certainly one to try. As I'm moving through this video, one thing that I will most certainly do when I go to Esxense next year is take notes, because a lot of these fragrance notes are not widely available online, and I am realizing that as I'm filming this video. There are a lot of fragrances in front of me that are not actually released yet, so the note list is unavailable, and I'm gonna have to go from memory and just give you like my own organic interpretation of what these smell like. Next coming up is room 1015 Wave Child. So Wave Child is launching on the 21st. Right now when I'm filming this, it's the 18th, so once this video launches, they will most likely have the notes so you can look them up yourself. However, let me tell you, coconut is one of the more prominent notes here. It's coconut, but it's definitely a more like beachy inspired coconut. Think slightly sunscreen, with some citrus, like with a zestiness in the opening, and then the dry down you get like that soft, creamy coconut. It's a really beautiful perfume, particularly if you are a fan of coconut. When I was at Esxense, I got to interact with the founder, and he took me through his inspiration and his thought process behind creating the fragrances, and it truly was such an interesting experience because I think I was really very much able to learn so much about the brand, and seeing it face to face and learning about the inspiration behind the fragrances. I am very much excited about trying more from room 1015. Wave Child is definitely their newest release, but they have a lot of really underrated gems that I most certainly will be telling you about in future videos. Next, we have Lat Madla. The pronunciation that I have on this one is definitely questionable, but this fragrance, oh my goodness, is amazing. I am a huge fan of Profumo Differenzi's Buon Talenti. That one is like my favorite fragrance from them. I have sniffed a lot of the line. I don't know if I've sniffed most of it, but I've sniffed a really good amount of their fragrances, both at Scent Explore and at Esxense. Buon Talenti is still up there. It's still such a good fragrance in my opinion. I absolutely love it. However, the fragrance that might be overtaking my love and adoration for Buon Talenti is their newest release, which is Latte Mandorla. This is an amazing perfume. If you are a fan of lactonic almond notes, this is one to definitely consider. I am obsessed with it. So you have top notes of milk, almond, a mid of anise and rose, and then a base of patchouli and musk. Quite frankly, I don't smell the patchouli. Sometimes I think patchouli can be like a little bit earthy. Sometimes it can really help with the longevity of the fragrance. Some people can smell patchouli in fragrances, and honestly, looking at the scent pyramid, I can see patchouli as being a perfume that, as being a note that would like kind of stand out to me, like in like a kind of scary way. I don't know if just looking at the scent pyramid, I would see patchouli and be like, yes, that's a fragrance I want to have. But I can tell you, smelling the fragrance at Esxense, I have the sample as well. I'm going to buy the fragrance, by the way. But after experiencing the fragrance a few times, I can definitely say this is not a fragrance that is too focused on the patchouli. It is such a gorgeous scent. It's very milky and almond, but it's not kind of like a sour milk. Milk sometimes can be like a little bit of a finicky note. It's perfect. In short, this fragrance is absolutely stunning. It's creamy, but not too much. It's not sickly. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you love almond, milky, lactonic perfumes, this is gorgeous. I haven't smelled anise in a lot of fragrances before, so I don't think I'm picking that out very much. But a beautiful, musky, lactonic almond perfume. This is stunning. Love this one. I love this scent. It's so good. Next, we have a fragrance from Simone Andreoli. This was released at Esxense, I believe, and this is an icy unisex perfume, literally featuring the notes of ice crystals, cold molecules, and frozen woods. This is a perfume that is unisex. Yes, I can definitely see everyone wearing this, but this would be amazing, in my opinion, on a guy. Like, this is the men's fragrance. It's icy but refreshing. I wouldn't wear this personally, but on guys, this is a really good scent. So if you're a guy and you're looking for like a new icy refreshing scent that doesn't lean citrusy, Silver Marble by Simone Andreoli, try this one out. This is really good. I was really fascinated by Sarah Baker at Esxense. They have a new fragrance called Peach's Revenge, and there are so many peach fragrances out there. Truly, there are a lot, and at this point, I'm kind of very picky about certain fragrances with certain notes. That includes peach, cherry, chocolate. In order to actually like a fragrance, I really have to love the way it's executed and the way it's paired with various notes. So if a perfume is going to be a little bit more unique, I'm going to like it more, even if it has one of those notes. And peach is definitely in that category for me. At this point, I don't want just a boozy peach. I want a peach, but with like a unique twist to it. And this is absolutely just that. So we have notes of peach, guava, nectarine, orris, ginger, caramel, amaretto, amber, cardamom, cinnamon, vanilla, and musk. So a lot of notes here, a lot of booziness, a lot of spiciness, but it's very blended. It's blended quite beautifully, and it's refreshing and zesty, but still has some depth to it. I absolutely love the peach and amaretto combo in here, and the guava and nectarine just like give it that little bit of zestiness that's absolutely gorgeous. So Sarah Baker, this is a brand that I really hadn't heard of before I came to Esxense, but they look like they have some really good stuff. I was able to get their discovery kit. I'm still going through that, but I really wanted to tell you about Peach's Revenge because this is like an absolutely very fascinating perfume. And if you're a gourmand lover, you should definitely check this out. This is a perfume that's absolutely going on my full bottle wish list like yesterday, and it's a cherry fragrance, which I didn't think would be a fragrance note that I would fall in love with all over again at Esxense, but there are some really interesting cherry fragrances. Again, I look for unique interpretation of commonly used fragrance notes, and cherry is one of them. I'm referencing, I mean, I have a little decant here, but I'm referencing the House of Oud Guilty Crush. This is a new release from them. It's brand new, and oh my goodness. Okay, so you have top notes of cherry, champagne, pink pepper, and then the mid is where it gets interesting and where you get that uniqueness. You have lipstick and jasmine, and in the base you have vanilla, musk, benzoin, and cedarwood. I love the cherry lipstick interpretation here. I do. This is like, this is a girly fragrance for me. It's like powdery. It's fizzy with that champagne. I really, really like this one. Another very impressive cherry fragrance came from Moresque. This is their new fragrance, Perpetual, and I really, really like this one. So you have ginger, dark cherry, orange blossom, rose, and iris, as well as musk, vanilla, sandalwood, and a bit of brown sugar. It is so delicious. It is really, really beautiful. I love the cherry here. It's definitely a dark cherry, almost a dark dried cherry with that sweetness. It almost is kind of like cherry jam or something. I really, really like this a lot. It doesn't smell like your typical cherry. It's actually a very interesting interpretation of like a dark dried cherry. I mean, that's how I interpret it, and it's slightly powdery with the iris, but not too much. It's gorgeous. It's really, really, really lovely. Plus, Moresque, their bottles are absolutely gorgeous, and their juice, you can kind of see even in this decant. I don't think you can see on camera that much, but they have like a shimmer running through it that's absolutely divine. Yeah, I really like this one a lot. Perpetual by Moresque. So next I have perfumes that are being released, but I don't have samples or decants or the bottles in front of me. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of the ones that really stood out to me and tell you which ones that I most certainly am considering for myself. So first you have Guerlain Kama. Now this is a fragrance house that I was so lucky enough to experience. I do have their discovery set. I'm going going through it, and I love a lot of their perfumes. Kama is a really interesting take on blackberry and leather, and the way they do their leathers is actually very interesting. It's not like an animalic leather, it's more like a clean suede-like leather, which I absolutely love. And the fragrance itself is like a powdery fragrance with an amber base. Chef's Kiss, one of my favorite bottles that I smelled at Esxense. Then you have Reinvented, one of my favorite niche brands. They are so lovely, and I was so excited to smell two of their brand new releases. And I have the images in my phone. So I have Eternal Soul, and then I have Ode to Psyche. Eternal Soul is the one I see being the most popular since it does have like a fruity cherry note. It's really a very unique take on cherry, but Ode to Psyche is absolutely hands down my favorite from those two bottles. Ode to Psyche was just like this like very kind of like well blended, intoxicating, spicy, incensey perfume. But the way that Reinvented does their fragrances, they handle their notes in such a way that they make all their fragrances very elegant. That might seem like a weird thing to say, but their fragrances are always very well blended. So when I say incense, I'm not talking about a scratchy, loud incense. I'm talking about something smooth and delectable and beautiful. So Reinvented, they have those two fragrances, but my favorite, hands down, is Ode to Psyche. Then you have another new release from New Notes. Now, I was sure that I had the sample available, but then I realized I didn't. This is Latte Mimosa. This is a new fragrance from them, of course, and it's a fizzy lactonic mimosa perfume. Lovely. And then I want to touch on The Gate. This is a perfume brand that I absolutely love. They have some really interesting takes on gourmand fragrances. They are based in Dubai. They have their offices there, and I just love their perfumes. So they have a new fragrance coming out called Duet 2. This, in my interpretation, was like a very spicy perfume. It's unisex in my opinion. It is definitely a fragrance that is very intense and spicy, but it still has that elegance that is present in so many of the Gates fragrances. It's a very ambery, woody perfume as well, but it's very much a spicy, kind of a spicy, sharp scent. So if you're into that, definitely keep your eyes peeled for Duet 2. They have Duet 1, this is Duet 2, and what's also exciting is that The Gate have completely redone their packaging. So their packaging used to be like these kind of like cylinder-shaped bottles, which I personally didn't love. But now they're coming out with these completely new bottles. They've completely redesigned their line. The fragrances themselves are the same, but the bottles are completely different, as is the packaging. I personally love the bottles. I'll include a little bit of a B-roll on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. Those were all the fragrances that stood out to me the most at Esxense. Again, I was so excited to go, and it truly was an unforgettable experience. Next year when I go, I think I'll definitely be way more organized. I'll have my notes. I'll actually take pictures of the notes so I can tell you what they smell like, and I think it'll be great. But I really had so much fun this year. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching until the end of this video. I hope this was useful to you, and I will see you next time. Bye.